Certainly, the race for New York City mayor and New Jersey governor will have a major impact on our area, but they've also gained national attention, especially in these last few weeks.
For more on today's races and what they could mean for the rest of the country, we're joined now by ABC News Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein. Rick, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
I want to first talk about the mayor's race, and the turnout, early voting was phenomenal, and we saw a surge in young voters as well. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's smashing any record here. There isn't a long history, but this is going to write a new history for how voters vote. And we saw it in the primary where this huge surge of younger voters showed up for Zoran Mondani. I've talked to a lot of people about this who think that the early turnout, and particularly among young people, is probably good for him. Of course, we don't know exactly who they voted for. We won't see that till after the polls close, but it tracks with the crowds he's got, and it tracks with the enthusiasm that he's seen. It tracks with the national and local attention that he's gotten, sometimes for reasons he likes, sometimes for reasons he doesn't like. This Mondani is, if he wins the mayor's race today, he'll be one of the biggest stories of the year, maybe of the decade.
And to that end, President Trump, now a part of this election, I suppose he's always been from the very beginning. Good thing, bad thing for Cuomo, and it almost feels like the president is disingenuous when he says, okay, well, Cuomo's the best of the bad.
Yeah, look, at this point, I think Andrew Cuomo will take any vote he can get. Republican, Trump voter, doesn't really matter. And he's done a lot of interviews on Fox News. He's tried to reach out to Republicans or independent-minded folks to say, look, I'm the right choice. And he said, look, I'm the anti-Mondani choice. He's complicated by the fact that Sliwa's campaign has been stronger than I think anyone anticipated. And the bottom line is, if you talk to national Republicans, a lot of them are pretty excited about Zoran Mondani being the mayor of the country's largest city, because they'll position against the Democratic Socialist. Almost everything he does is going to be cast as a voice of the Democratic Party, and Donald Trump may like that foil heading into the midterms next year.
Let's talk about the New Jersey governor race, and again, Donald Trump's influence is very much being felt in the campaign ads. What kind of an impact do you see it having in this case?
I mean, Chitterelli has a long and complicated history with Trump. He was kind of a never-Trumper, anti-MAGA early on, supported Governor Christie's campaign early, but since then he's gone on more fulsome support, and he is now very aligned with Donald Trump. Trump and Vance have talked about him as part of the movement, and as much as you could talk about local issues, that nationalization is exactly what Democrats want in a blue state like New Jersey. And if Mikey Sherrill wins, I think it'll be because of Donald Trump's unpopularity. That'll probably be the biggest factor, because we've seen New Jersey shift now in the last couple of elections. Chitterelli came within 3 points of beating Governor Phil Murphy 4 years ago, and Donald Trump himself cut his margin by 10 points between 2020 and 2024 with slightly different kinds of voters. So the coalition's there for Republicans to coalesce.
But New Jersey's always had a strong Republican presence.
Yes.
And I mean, there's been prior Republican governors for many years. It's interesting. They always painted as a blue state, but in many years we've seen Republican governors there as well.
Yeah, that's right. And similar to Virginia, voting today is a bluish state, but it's got a history of voting for Republicans. There's a current Republican governor. And often it doesn't cut directly in the same direction as the national wins. And that's what's interesting, is that these often turn on local issues. And you see that in the way that they've been campaigning, the way they've been advertising. But the nationalization piece of it, that's where Democrats are test driving a message, and they're going to see, are they in a different place than they were a year ago.
Well, do you believe that the New Jersey governor's race, along with the Virginia governor's race, is it fair to say maybe these are a referendum or a brief glimpse of what we might see in the midterm next year?
Yes, they tell us something, not nothing. It doesn't tell us everything. It's going to be different when you've got all these House districts and Senate and Senate districts and Senate seats that are on the line. But you get to see where the temperature of the electorate is a year in, because we're at that midpoint between the president's election and his midterm check-in next year.
We'll take a break, Rick. You're going to have a busy night. We really appreciate making time for us.
You bet.